Welcome to the home of Florida's finest everything. Naples, Marco Island, and the Everglades. They call it Florida's Paradise Coast for a reason. Bask in 30 miles of soft white sand beaches, luxurious hotels, and stunning beachfront resorts with delectable dining experiences. Take advantage of warmth, relaxation, and endless outdoor adventures. When you want a Florida vacation that's exceptional in every way, only Paradise will do. Naples, Marco Island, and the Everglades. Florida's Paradise Coast. Plan your visit now at paradisecoast.com.
Dive into savings at Whole Foods Market with the Summer Splash Sales Event. Stock up now on best of season red cherries. Plus, save on organic chicken legs, drumsticks, and thighs with no antibiotics ever. They're great on the grill with some light seasoning. Going to a picnic? Grab some prepared sides like macaroni salad and a big bag of 365 by Whole Foods Market kettle cooked chips and be on your way. Summer is on at Whole Foods Market, in-store and online.
I don't know about y'all, but I have family members, like I have tried so many times over the last several decades, tried to unpack it, tried to work through it, tried to give grace, tried to ignore it, tried to keep and honestly, at some point with certain family members, it looks like we're just not going to have anything but a surface level relationship. It's just not in the cards for us because honestly, if someone won't do their own work, they can't even see how they are interacting with you is inappropriate. And it is not our job to explain someone's toxic behavior being toxic, because the person who is perpetrating that behavior, they're never going to see it the way that we do.
Hey guys, it's Rach. Welcome to the show. I'm so glad that you're here with us today. And I have a favor, which sounds kind of harsh if we just met, but I'm assuming that most of you have been a part of this community for a hot minute. And so I gotta ask, are you subscribed to the podcast? Subscribing to the podcast you listen to regularly is one of the best things that you can do for hosts like me. It helps to support the show and the staff that works on it. It ensures that you never miss an episode when we drop a new one. And here's the cool thing about subscribing. If you do it and then you hate this show, just unsubscribe. It's one click away. In the meantime, if you're listening, we would so appreciate it if you would just tap that button and make it official.
Hey guys, it's Rach. Welcome to another episode of the podcast and a new edition in our Ask Rach series. If you've never listened to one of these episodes before, this is where I answer questions from y'all. You call in from all over the world and you ask me just about everything, and then producer Jack compiles all of your questions into one massive list, and then we answer them in real time. So why don't we just jump into the first question that we have today?
Hey, Rach. I have a question. I have been doing really well on eating well, getting up early, doing my thing, really proud of myself. And I just realized that spring break is coming up, and we are heading to an indoor water park for a few days and then to Chicago for a couple of days. And I just realized that going out of town always throws off my eating and gets me back hooked on sugars and junk. I have younger kids who eat hamburgers and nuggets when we're out and about, and sitting there eating the 100th salad, I've done it before. I can't do it anymore, obviously. Yeah, I would love some help, some advice. You're so good at helping me get into the right mindset for things. Please help. Thanks.
Okay, this is such a real question, and I love this because so many parents listening to this are like, girl, same. First of all, I want to acknowledge that you're going to an indoor water park because no disrespect to indoor water parks, but that actually sounds like my nightmare. That is, wow. Just, screaming kids and for sure some kind of diseases. No, calm down, Rach. Stop. Sounds like my nightmare, and tip of the hat to you that you are going to do that with the kids. Not a nutritionist, not your doctor. Obviously, you should always take health advice from people who know what they're talking about. But as your girlfriend, here's what I would tell you. I would not try to stay on your exact current plan while you go on this vacation. I actually think that sets you up for failure. I'm just assuming that you're like me. And I'm telling you right now, if I tried to go on vacation in any capacity and everyone else was having food that looks so delicious and I'm eating a salad, I'm actually going to go so far the other direction. My husband said this to me last night. He was like, you hate anything feeling like a diet. You hate anything feeling like you can't have something if you want it. And he's completely right. So what I do is trick myself. And I think you should attempt to trick yourself in this particular instance. And here's how. I would not attempt to stay exactly on plan. I like to think 5 years in the future, you've been working at it for years. It's second nature to you. You don't have to think about it. You are rocking it. You don't even need to have this conversation. But let's take baby steps to get from where we are today to where you want to go in the future. Baby steps to me would look like two things. It would look like you are on plan for 2 of 3 meals every single day of vacation, and you work out every single day with cardio. Let me explain. Rather than being all or nothing, let's just think of health and fitness and weight loss and the whole journey at its most basic level. I know there are 1 billion different diets that people will tell you to do, and there's keto and Atkins and South Beach and this and that and the other thing. But at the most basic level, weight loss looks like you are burning more calories in a given day than you are consuming. Yes, there are a bunch of different ways that you can do that, different bodies, like we know that. But at the most basic level, if you are really thoughtful about not going super overboard with the amount of calories you're consuming versus how many you are working off, you are not going to come back from vacation and feel like you've gained 15 pounds. And you're also going to stay in your rhythm. So you're like, this is my identity. This is who I am. This is how I show up Monday through Friday. And also, this is what it looks like for me to continue to show up for myself and my life while I am on vacation with my family. So what I would do, you're going to get a workout in every single day of vacay. Now, for anyone who just heard that and was like, girl, what are you talking about? I get it because I used to be that person. I remember like 20 years ago, we were in Cabo, and it was like the first time in my life, truly, it ever like really vacation, because I didn't grow up in a family that vacation. We couldn't afford it. Every once in a while, we took a camping trip or like with Girl Scouts or something, but I never went on a like lay by a pool vacation. And I remember going on this vacation in a group, and there were a bunch of other couples, and there were, honestly, everybody else in this group was older than me, like by 10 years. And there was a woman on this trip, like fabulous LA publicist. And I remember she got up every day and worked out. And I literally was so confused. I could not understand. And finally one day I was like, why are you working out? Like, Jill, why are you working out? And she was like, oh, I always work out. And I never get to have really like long indulgent workouts where I'm not in a hurry like I am every day of my life. So working out on vacation feels fun because I'm like really able to take my time. And I still like my brain could not process what she was saying. Now, there's no world where I would go on vacation and not work out every day just because I work out every day at home. So it would be so weird to not move my body, even if it's like, oh, we're going to go on a hike or we're going to go take a walk on the beach for a couple of miles or whatever. I'm going to move my body every day on that vacation. And that is the first step that you are going to take. You're going to make sure you get your workout in every day. And yes, that might mean that on vacation, you don't get to sleep in. but you have kids, so chances are you weren't sleeping in anyway. But wherever you're going to carve out time in the day, you got to tell someone else to watch those babies for an hour while you go get your movement in. I don't care what it is. You're going to work out every day. Not only you're going to work out every day, you're going to do cardio for at least 20 minutes. Cardio is you are doing something like a light jog, you're doing a class, maybe if you're staying at a hotel that has one, you are doing something, you're watching a YouTube video, whatever you need to do so your heart rate gets up and you're sweating. That is really important. Why is cardio important? Well, if we're trying to burn at least as many calories as we are consuming, then we need to do something that burns more calories. Strength training, yoga, all of that stuff's amazing. It will not burn as many calories as you doing cardio. So I would suggest you get that workout in, you make sure at least 20 minutes of that workout are some kind of cardio. And then let's talk about your food. So my rule of thumb here would be 2 meals a day on plan. 2 meals a day on plan, 1 meal a day that is cheat meal. So normally we would never do a cheat meal every day, but this is vacation. And we're trying to make choices that allow you to stay in the game instead of completely jumping off the wagon, right? Don't stress about doing it perfectly. Just focus on making choices that allow you to have fun, feel like you're indulging on vacation, but not all day long. I don't know about you, but this is where I would get in trouble, where I'm like, if I'm starting the morning with a donut, we're done. Like I'm going to make terrible choices for the rest of this day because my mind tells me, well, you made a bad choice. You may as well, like you got a flat tire, you may as well puncture the other 3. It's like this ridiculous all or nothing mentality, but I know I'm not the only person who has this. So I would suggest that you choose the meal every single day that you want to be the most indulgent. Now, maybe you switch it up. Maybe one day you're like, I'm going to go ham at breakfast because I really love a brunch moment. But the rest of the day, I'm going to keep it light. I'm going to focus on protein and greens. So I'm going to keep those calories low for the rest of the day. Or maybe you're like, ooh, we're going to go to this fabulous restaurant for dinner. So I'm really going to be mindful throughout the day, eat super healthy to build up for dinner. Why this works is it will help you balance your calories out. Number 1. Number 2, I don't know the psychology of this, and if this is like terrible advice for health or emotional reasons, I don't know. But I'm just telling you what works. Saving up for something makes the thing you're saving up for more enjoyable. Studies actually show that the time spent dreaming about the vacation is actually more exciting for most people than being on vacation. In the same vein, if you are all day like, ooh, tonight at dinner, I'm having chips and guac. I'm so excited. I'm going to have chips and guac. And then all day long, you're like, ooh, you know what else I really want? I really also want some tacos. I'm going to go chips, guac, tacos all day long. Ooh, you know what else I really want? I'm going to do a margarita at dinner. Yeah, I'm going to do a margarita at dinner. I'm going to do a whole Mexican vibe. It's going to be delicious, right? All day long, you're saving up for this thing. It's way more exciting. And when you get to that dinner, you feel like, yeah, I am present in this moment. I am working hard on my health. This is my indulgent. You really enjoy it. As opposed to, and I know some of you are going to get this, if you've ever been on vacation and you're just like, oh, screw it, I'm going to go super hard no matter what, like I'm just going to eat everything. By the time you get to dinner, you're not savoring that dinner. You're not enjoying that dinner. You're shoving food in your gob like you've been doing all day. Again, I'm speaking about my own experience. So if this is not yours, then ignore what I'm saying. But for me, being really intentional about how I am indulging on vacation, better for my health, better for my body at the end of that vacation, and better for me mentally. Because I'm like, ooh, this is like how I want to do things. This is how things should be done. It's not about, I'm going to eat the kids' chicken strips. I'm going to go get a cookie. I'm going to have some Dole Whip. I'm going to do this, that, and the other thing. It's like, no, I'm about to go have an amazing dinner tonight and I cannot wait. And I've done my workout and I've been really thoughtful all day in the build up for that. Last piece of advice I'm going to give you here is, again, I am just speaking from my own experience. If this is the kind of vacation where you're going to have a drink, the later in the day you can bring that drink into the mix, the less likely you are to make decisions you will regret. Because obviously when we have a drink, it lowers our inhibitions and we're like, oh, it's not that big a deal if I get nachos at the swim up bar. It's not that big a deal if I have a soft pretzel. But when you have that one thing, it's a signal to your brain. I know you do this because you said whenever I go on vacation, I fall off the wagon and it completely derails all of the work I've done when I get back home. So that says to me, you're very similar to me in that if you have one thing at like 2 p.m., all of a sudden your entire afternoon and evening becomes about indulgence and you've had a drink, so your inhibitions are lowered. Just if you're going to have a drink, wait until as late as possible so you're setting yourself up for the best chance of success.
Step into the freedom of summer with jewelry that reflects who you are and where you're going. From sunrise to sunset, Pandora Jewelry transports you to paradise. No passport required. From ocean charms to colorful tennis bracelets, shop new arrivals to add to your summer staples. Be unmissable this summer with vacation-ready designs. Everyone loves adding a little something fun to their wardrobe during the summer, and accessories are the easy go-to staple that will jazz up any outfit. Feel it, live it, embrace it. Be love. Shop in-store or online at pandora.net to discover new styles. This show is sponsored by BetterHelp. Y'all know I love therapy. I think I've done every kind of therapy at this point, and I know how important it is. But one of the coolest things to have seen over the last few decades is how so many of the stigmas surrounding mental health have shifted and changed. When I was 14, I went to therapy for the very first time, and that was because my brother had passed away after a long and harsh battle with mental illness. And I remember when he was a teenager how taboo it was to talk about struggling with your mental health or to be seeing a doctor. But over the last 10 years, BetterHelp has revolutionized therapy because they made it fully online, affordable, and convenient. BetterHelp serves over 5 million people worldwide. It's easy to switch therapists at any time, so if you're new to therapy, this is a great way to get started. We're all better with help. Visit betterhelp.com/Rach to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/Rach.
I think you should totally have the best time ever, but I think you make having the best time ever part of your plan, right? So like you're getting that workout in, you're getting that cardio in. If this is not an ad, but honestly, the easiest way to keep track of it that I know of is MyFitnessPal, the app where you can just enter your calories. I know sort of old school thinking is like keeping track of your calories. But y'all, if you've never done that, even for a week, like if you've never just tracked what calories are in what, it might be really helpful. Some of you might have amazing breakthroughs in your health journey when you understand how many calories are inside of the food that you're eating. For instance, sorry, I'm getting off on a tangent, but I feel like you guys are here for it. For instance, if you are doing a high protein diet, so if you are having lots of animal proteins, almost exclusively greens, nuts, eggs, things like that, you really don't need to keep that close of an eye on calorie count because it would be really freaking hard for you if you're eating that clean and that lean to have enough calories to go way over the top, unless you're snacking. Meaning, do you know how many calories are in a handful of nuts? Do you know how many calories are in half an avocado? Do you know how many calories are in olive oil? Do you know how many calories are in eggs? If you're not aware, if let's say you, in your mind, you're like, I do a really healthy diet and I don't know why I can't lose these last 5 pounds or these last 10 pounds, audit your calorie intake because things add up. And if you're like me, like I used to snack on nuts all day long. I had no idea how many calories are in a single handful of nuts. They're really good for you, great fiber, great protein, all of that. But if you're not aware how much you're taking in, you're going to sabotage yourself. Which means if you don't know that in everyday life and you go on vacation, you probably have no concept about how the choices you are making are actually like 4,000 calorie choices as opposed to what would be normal for you. And the beauty of understanding your calories is that I promise you there are foods that you love right now. Maybe things that you don't even think of as like, oh, that's a healthy food, but you love it and actually is super low calories. So if you're going on vacation and you're like, tonight I'm going to be really indulgent, you can be thoughtful about what breakfast and lunch is so that you can get to dinner and have more fun. Definitely worth exploring. Obviously, there are people who are way better at this than I am, but I think at vacation, you're supposed to have a good time and you're supposed to be indulgent. But I always think of vacation as us getting to be the best version of ourselves. Like I want to go on vacation and think, oh, this is who I want to be all the time. I don't want to go on vacation and think, oh my God, like years ago, I went on a weekend cruise to Puerto Vallarta. Okay, it's the only cruise I've ever been on. Me and 3 friends, we go on this cruise. It was like the worst of humanity, okay? I became the worst version of myself. You know those people in Wall-E who like live on the chairs and just like eat? That was me on the cruise, okay? By day 3, I was literally wearing my robe to the all-night buffet. It was a problem. I became the worst version of myself. I don't think that's what vacation is. I think vacation is supposed to show us what is possible in life. Even if you are at that indoor water park, maybe what's possible for you is that you're seeing, oh, this is what it looks like when our family's having a great time. This is what it looks like when I continue to show up as the woman that I want to be, despite the circumstances that I'm inside of. So really think with intention about what this experience might be for you, not just for the kids, not just for your partner. And I hope you have a great time. And whatever you decide to do, even if you go completely off the rails and you're like, oh, I didn't show up at all how I thought I was going to, just the mindfulness of how you might like to show up next time is enough to get you headed in the right path. Okay, next question, which based entirely on the title that Jack put into the Excel spreadsheet, sounds really juicy.
Hi, Rachel. My name is Isabel, and I have a question in regards to family. Currently, I'm dealing with a situation that my mom's side of the family comes from, I won't give too much information, but comes from a different type of culture to where there is a slight sense of entitlement and judgment. What I'm having a hard time with is that my mom's side of the family does not acknowledge that my partner exists at all. There was a couple of times in which we had gotten into it. Everybody else in my life who actually knows our relationship absolutely loves him. He is the love of my life. He is my rock. He is the best. But where they have an issue is more so because there is a little bit of an age gap. It's nothing astronomical. That he has a kid. Those are the main things. And then when I first met him, he wasn't as established as he was now, which basically my question is to you, long story short, how do I continue to deal with this? How do I navigate this conversation? I'm having a hard time understanding why she doesn't know him. She just knows those couple of pieces of information about him, and she's not really willing to give him a chance. So do I protect my peace and continue to just set these boundaries that this is just a conversation in which we don't speak about? Or do I confront it? Is it worth my energy if somebody is not in a good headspace themselves and not in a good financial and lifestyle situation? Do I even bring this to the table? Because is it worth
Okay, this is one of those situations where I wish that we were sitting together having coffee, or I wish that we were on the phone right now, because I feel like I need more context to give good advice. But in the absence of more context, I'm just going to go with my gut and give you some ideas. My first question or thought for you is probably the same I would have for almost anybody in this situation, which is, what is the quality of the relationship that you have with your mom or with your mom's family? What is the quality that you currently have, and what is the quality that you would like to have? I might not be the best person to give you advice because I honestly don't believe in interacting with family members who are jerks. That's just sort of like day one rule for me. I don't care how we are related. I don't care, like, family ties and blood's thicker than water and all of that. I just do not have time in my life for people who are mean. For me, I just don't believe that just because someone is our family, they have the right to treat us however they want to. It's especially dangerous in families because even if it's not conscious, the people who have known us the longest are also the best at manipulating us and pushing our buttons. So the reason I ask, what is the state of your relationship with your mom, is, are there parts of your relationship that feel really good? Like, is this just one sort of issue that you guys have, but every other part of it, she's really supportive and kind and encouraging? In which case, there's a couple of different ways that you can take it. You can, if it's not going to sort of get under your skin, you can say, hey, Mom, this is just the thing we are not going to talk about. I love you so much. I love our relationship together, but this particular area, this is one, you and I are not going to go there. And if you want to be involved in all aspects of my life, like if you want to be invited over to my new home, if you want to interact with my partner and his child, like if you want to be fully in my life, well, this is something we're going to have to work through because I won't allow you to treat someone that I love this way. So that's one route. The other thing that you can do is say, okay, well, like, we really need to get into this. We need to resolve this once and for all and fully unpack what's going on here. And I'm going to have to challenge the way that you're showing up. And maybe you've got some challenges for me, but it's something that the two of you are going to have to work through if that's a route you want to take. And this is important, if she's someone that can receive that. Like, is she someone that can receive that kind of conversation? Have you ever heard that joke? We go to therapy so that we can figure out how to deal with all the people in our life who won't go to therapy. I don't know about y'all, but I have family members, like, I have tried so many times over the last several decades, tried to unpack it, tried to work through it, tried to give grace, tried to ignore it, tried to keep and honestly, at some point with certain family members, it looks like we're just not going to have anything but a surface level relationship. It's just not in the cards for us because honestly, if someone won't do their own work, they can't even see why how they are interacting with you is inappropriate. And it is not our job to explain someone's toxic behavior being toxic, because the person who's perpetrating that behavior, they're never going to see it the way that we do. You got some choices to make if Mama is awesome in every other respect except this one. Now let's look at what also might be true. What also might be true for a lot of people I know, and maybe for you, is that Mama is not great in every other respect. My instinct is that people aren't toxic in only one lane. Toxicity tends to permeate, right? It tends to be something that they bring into any situation that they don't have control of, any situation where they can't manipulate you, any situation where you're not doing what they want you to do, where you're stepping outside the lines that they have stayed inside of. Most people can't be jerks only in one area, is sort of the quickest way to say what I'm trying to say. And if that's the case, well, you and I need to have a bigger conversation. You need to have a bigger conversation with yourself. Let's look at it this way. if she wasn't your mom, would you allow this behavior? See, that's crazy. That's what's so crazy, is that so many people will make excuses, will make allowances for behavior that is toxic and manipulative and sometimes emotionally abusive. They will make excuses because it's mama, because it's daddy, because it's my in-laws, because it's my big sister, because it's family. But what you really need to ask yourself is, would you put up with this behavior if this was someone you just met? When I ask people that question, they laugh. It's like ludicrous. Like, oh my gosh, of course I wouldn't put up with this behavior if this was someone I just met. Then what are you doing? Why are you putting up? Why are you allowing it? It's even more insidious. It's even more dangerous because it's not a stranger on the street and it's not a rude coworker. It is someone who can get into the deepest crevices of your being. This is not okay. And sometimes you recognizing that this is not okay and putting some emotional boundaries in place, even if those boundaries look like distance, it might look like space. It might look like not letting certain people into your life because they are acting in ways that are inappropriate. There was a fantastic episode I did with Dr. Ramani, who is one of the foremost experts speaking today on narcissism. And I'm not saying that your mom's a narcissist, but in that episode, we talked quite a bit about boundaries and what it looks like to create boundaries inside of familial relationships. It might be really helpful for you. That is episode 569, if you guys want to check it out. But at the end of the day, it actually doesn't matter what your mom or her family heard about your boyfriend. Doesn't matter where he comes from, doesn't matter what his job was, doesn't matter that he wasn't doing as well when you guys got together. None of his circumstances matter because it is none of their business. This is not your mom's boyfriend. This is not your auntie's boyfriend. This is your boyfriend. This is your life. This is your partner. And girl, even if you have ended up with the absolute worst possible person, I'm not saying that's what's happening, but let's play devil's advocate for your mom and her entire family. Let's say, yep, she is actually with the devil. She has ended up with Lucifer. She did it. She's dating the devil. Even then, this is your life. I know that's not the situation, but no matter what choices you have made, you're an adult. And they are your choices. They are not hers. It's like when mother-in-laws try and tell you how to raise your kids, right? Or even moms. Like when anyone who is not you tries to tell you that you're parenting incorrectly, you already had your kids. You already had your chance. You get to be a parent to your children, and I get to be a parent to my children in the same way that I get to make decisions inside of my own life. I guess a better question is not, how do you deal with your mom in this situation? A better question for you to unpack is, why do you feel like you don't have a choice? Why do you feel like this is even a question to wonder about? Why do we keep going back into these relationships again and again that are hurting us? I hope that in all of the scenarios I've laid out today, that in this particular instance, your story is that your mom is actually awesome in a bunch of other ways, but because she's overprotective and she loves you so much, she's not being great to your partner, in which case I say this is something that you either keep boundaries in place, you don't talk about it, or you dig in deep. Remember that when we burn things down, it takes a while to rebuild. I hope that's the scenario. But if this is actually a scenario where she is misbehaving, where she's not showing up well, that's a bigger thing for you to look at. Because, man, this is the rest of your life. And if they're not going to be upset about this thing, I promise they'll be upset about something else. Because anytime our family or friends or community think that they can change our behavior by making it very clear to us that they are upset with our choices, when we go along with that, meaning when we keep interacting, when they keep getting all the usual stuff they got from us, we're there at Christmas, we're there at Easter, we show up in all the places, there's nothing to stop them from doing this in every other part of your life. Being in a relationship is amazing, and it also takes work, and it's also hard, and it also requires energy and commitment and a lot. How are you supposed to do that well with this partner if you're also trying to convince a bunch of other people whose business this is not that this thing is okay? I think this is none of their business. I think you're a grown-up, and I think that you know exactly what you need to do, but putting space in between ourselves and the people who raised us is really difficult and requires a lot of cycle breaking. And I'm sending you love in this journey because it's a lot. Okay. Thank you so much for that question. Before I jump into the next one, I want to remind you guys that if you have a question you would like me to answer, the number is 737-400-4626. Happy to help and offer my expertise, limited as it is. You know what I would love? I do think of these segments in terms of like something fun, something juicy, something that'll make the audience laugh. So if you have a question that fits into one of those categories, please call and ask it. Okay, the next question actually isn't a voicemail. It is a DM that I got on Instagram. So every once in a while, we'll ask y'all like, hey, are there any questions that you have? And then the team will screenshot a bunch of them so that I can see. And this one, I don't think it was supposed to make me laugh, but it definitely did. Okay, so the question is it normal to just want to be alone? Currently married, 15 years, love him, but want to be alone. Is it normal? Absolutely. I think at this point we can all agree that almost everything you're feeling is allowed, is normal, has value, is worth you unpacking. Now, the interesting part about doing these episodes is that I don't ever have full context. I don't know if our friend is asking me, is it normal to want to be alone on a Saturday? Is it normal to want to like have my own room? I don't know if she's asking, is it normal to want to not be married anymore, be alone, be by myself, even though I love him? So let's explore all of these things. Having a feeling of wanting something, especially if the thing that you're wanting isn't modeled anywhere around you. So if you're like craving something, but you don't see anyone else who has that going on in their life, is a fabulous thing to unpack with your therapist. I hope that you have one. Everyone should have one. But if that's not something you're ready to do, or maybe you don't have access to someone to talk to, it's worth just exploring. What am I really craving here? Am I craving more time by myself? Am I craving more adventure? Am I craving silence? Like if you are an introvert and you just need more time by yourself to recharge, that could be a thing. If you're feeling exhausted, if your hormones are out of balance, if you just want some space, that's fine too. Maybe you start to have adventures by yourself or take a solo vacation. I guess the question is not, is this normal? The question is, how is your boo going to respond when you tell him that you want time by yourself? The first piece of advice I would give you is to figure out exactly what it is you are craving more of. I hope what you're craving more of is just that you need some time by yourself and not that this is a full-scale destruction of your life. That's a thing too. And if that's where you're at, that's something to be really honest about, even if you don't know what you're going to do with it yet, but just be honest at least with yourself. But I'm thinking that you're asking, is it cool to just want more time not with my husband? Yes. Yes, 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 all day long. At some point in the last 20 years, but most especially since the pandemic, our partners have been required to be everything, right? You went into lockdown with them. If you both work from home, you're around each other all the time. Our partners became our best friend, our coworker, our lover, our partner. Sometimes it's a co-parent. Like, Your partner is not supposed to be your entire community. You need a community to be your community. And so many relationships struggle under the weight of both of you needing to be everything to each other. My husband got invited to drinks. A bunch of his friends were in town on tour, and he got invited to go to drinks with everybody. And he was like, "Oh, do you want to come?" And the reality was, I did want to come. That sounded like such a fun thing to get to do. But at the same time, I was like, this is a bunch of guys. And it's really important for him to go be with a bunch of guys and to talk about the last 20 years of touring and like be buddies and share stories and not have me there, even though I'm awesome. I'm awesome. I'm a good time. All those guys would have been down to hang. Some of them ended up inviting their girlfriends or their wives that showed up later. But what I most wanted for him was the experience of just like being with his buddies, because that community, again, I'm awesome, but I can't be his guy friends. I don't have a 20-year shared history of working in the music industry with him. Like, they have stories, they have this inside language they get. It's just, we need that. We need to be with people who've known us for a long time, or we need to be with people who make us laugh. Or frankly, we need to be with people that we can be like, yo, my husband's driving me crazy this week. And they're like, girl, same. Maybe what you're craving is not alone time. It's just space. Space and the chance to unpack and see where you are and see where you want to go. I guess all of this advice boils down to the idea that almost everything I can think of is normal. Asking yourself if something that your spirit is calling for is normal, it's slowing down where you could already be in your journey, right? Let's just accept the calling of our heart means something. Let's unpack what that meaning is. Let's unpack how we can feed and nurture that feeling inside of us, and let's move forward. Getting stuck in one spot, being unable to move forward, that happens because we're so busy asking ourselves if we're allowed to have these feelings. We're not actually doing the work to resolve the feelings. So, yes, it's normal. Yes, you're right to question it. Go deep. Figure out what's there. Find out what happens next. In today's episode, I answered a bunch of questions from y'all. I hope if you're listening to this, you got something out of it. You will consider sharing with a friend, or you will consider calling the hotline and asking a question of your own so that we can have a fun conversation, sort of completely one-sided where I talk to you, but at least hopefully helpful. We will be back soon with more conversation. Until then, as always, I love you and I'm rooting for you. The Rachel Hollis podcast is produced by me, Rachel Hollis. It's edited by Andrew Weller and Jack Noble.
Did you know that skincare can start in the laundry room? All Free Clear is the #1 laundry detergent brand recommended by dermatologists, allergists, and pediatricians for sensitive skin. All Free Clear is 100% free of dyes and perfumes. It provides an effective clean that's gentle on skin while removing impurities like dirt and body oil without leaving irritating residues. Plus, All Free Clear liquid is Safer Choice certified by the U.S. EPA. For a clean you can feel good about, all you need is All Free Clear.
Halliday presents, in the red corner, the undisputed, undefeated Weed Whacker Guy. Champion of hurling grass and pollen everywhere. And in the blue corner, the challenger, extra strength Halliday. Eye drops that work all day to prevent the release of histamines that cause itchy allergy eyes. And the winner by knockout is Halliday. Halliday, bring it on.